Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. A very good evening from FES consultant side. And this is Sumera Nazir, and I'm working as a head of operations at FES Roskar. And today we are very pleased to welcome our very special guest, Miss Mariama Thomas from Northeastern University, USA. So, Ms. Mariama, welcome to FES Consultants live session. So, it's over to you. Tell us about yourself first and then about the university.
Thank you, Samara. Thank you for hosting me and Northeastern today on your page. It's a great opportunity to be here. Good evening, everyone who's listening in or watching. So I am Mariama Thomas. I represent Northeastern University in South Asia and Middle East. So to tell a little bit more about myself. So I have been fortunate to be an international student in the US while doing my master's. After which I worked at a university in the US for some time. So in my career, I have been an international student as well as now I am an international educator, which I believe gives a very unique perspective to help work with students who are aspiring to go abroad to study. So this is something that I myself have experienced. So I'm more than my work. I look at it like I'm sharing my experience to inspire students to go to the US for their further studies.
So, thank you so much, Mariama. And we have a very talented host from FES, Hamza Rahman, and he surprisingly joined us. So, welcome, Hamza. So, over to you, Hamza, if you want to start questions from Mariama, and then we will continue our session.
Thank you so much, ma'am Sumera, and good evening, ma'am Mariama, and it was lovely having you over here. Thank you so much for giving us time, and it was an accident that I just jumped in, and it was such a very nice accident for you guys. So as far as we are concerned for Northeastern University, we have so many questions, we have so many queries. First of all, I would like to congratulate everybody who is watching me online again, as I've always promised with the people that I will come back. Okay, so first of all, I would like to know about the Northeastern University, where exactly it is situated.
So Northeastern University, our flagship or our main campus is located in Boston. And Boston, I believe all of you who are listening, you know where Boston is. It's on the eastern coast of the United States. It's a very popular city as far as college going kids are concerned. There are many universities and top ranked colleges located in Boston. And as a matter of fact, Boston is the college town of America. There are about 125,000 students just in Boston going to Northeastern, Boston University, MIT, Harvard. All those universities are in very close proximity. So this is pretty much the college town of America. And in addition to Boston campus, which is our main campus, we do have 3 other campuses in the US. So one is in Charlotte in North Carolina, one is in Seattle, Washington, and San Francisco in California. Then in addition to our US campuses, we have 2 campuses, one in Vancouver, one in Toronto in Canada. So this is what Northeastern is. We have a main campus in Boston in addition to the regional campuses, as we call them, in other parts of the US and Canada.
That's great. That's one of the nice news I've got to know about, because Massachusetts has always been the hub of education, as everybody knows about Boston. So what do you think of a Boston? Because there are so many universities. As you know, there are 4,500 plus universities in the United States of America. But as people got to know about Silicon Valley, as Boston is the hub, if you want to have a very good life, kind of a freaky thingy life, you are always been looking forward for Florida. So what do you think, how Boston could be standing up in between other universities along with Northeastern University?
Yeah. So what sets Boston apart is the opportunities that are available to students. So, Boston as a city has a lot of, it's one of the largest cities in the US. That means students have an exposure to pretty much all industries, that are there in Boston. And for an international student, what does that exposure means? It translates to internships, it translates to jobs after they graduate with a degree from one of the universities in that area. And to talk about Northeastern in particular, what makes Northeastern different from other universities is the experiential learning model that we provide for our students. So when a student comes to Northeastern, and this is one of the main reasons why many of our students choose Northeastern over many other universities that from where they may have received an acceptance. So when a student joins Northeastern, it's not just a degree or it's not just the classroom experience that they are coming for. They are choosing Northeastern for the experiential learning model that is offered to our students, which we have been doing for over 100 years now. Because we have a co-op education model, and co-op means very roughly translates to internship. So normally when a student is studying at a US university, it's optional to do an internship. Whereas at Northeastern, this is an integral part of the curriculum. You study in your classroom, at the same time you gain valuable work experience in a field that is, or in the industry that is related to your field. So by the time a student graduates, it's not just a degree or a diploma that they get, it is also some work experience and an exposure into the field in the US that they gain. So they may decide to go back to their home countries, that's fine, but still that experience that they gain, they retain with them for the rest of their lives.
That's very nice, because this is for specifically for all the people who are watching us and listening us. I would like to tell you about the co-op program, because people got to take co-op programs are like this, that they are supposed to work while studying. So yes, it is work while studying, but there are kind of semesters. For example, if you are going to any kind of university, you are studying over there, but eventually 20 hours for a week or 80 hours for a month, you are allowed to do a part-time job. So besides of it, co-op is something a different thing, because co-op is being designed from the university for the student to gain the experience until you have been completed your 4 years of education. As you guys know that US holds a 4 years degree of a bachelor's. So you will get qualified being a graduate, and you know people, you have been penetrated into that industry in which you are being studied. So guys, if you do have any questions regarding co-op thing, if you need to ask anything, I am here. Ma'am Sumera is here, Ma'am Mariama is here to answer you guys. So thank you so much. I have plenty of questions, but as I told you before that I speak a lot. So over to Ma'am Sumera, please.
Thank you so much, Hamza. Thank you. Okay, Mariama, please let us know about what is an average size of a class. How many students?
Yeah, so the average size of a classroom at Northeastern is about 24.
Great.
So this is
Okay.
graduate.
And it's
So the class size is pretty small.
okay. So how much the students spending studies per week? How much hours they are spending per week studies?
So the number of hours that they spend in classroom depends on the number of credits that they take. So on any international graduate student is required to take 9 credit hours in a semester. So that means they will have 9 hours of classroom teaching in a week. And in addition to that, they are allowed to work for 20 hours in a week, like Hamza mentioned early on. So, you know, it will be a mixture of, like, a typical day will be a mixture of some classes, some you have to go to an office and work, or whatever your part-time work is, you spend some few hours there. And then of course, it doesn't end with the classroom. There will be assignments or projects to complete. So you will be spending time in the library on group projects. So a typical week will be a combination of all three. In addition to taking care of your life, because remember, dad and mom are not there to do everything for us. We have to manage everything by ourselves. But that's a very special experience. This is a very unique experience. And for me, that was a very exciting experience. You know, to manage your finances, you have your paychecks coming in, you have your tuition to pay, all those things. This is pretty, you know, a very different one from what we are experienced in our home countries, where to a great extent, our families support us and take care of us.
Because getting a paycheck I just wanted to add in a comment for Ma'am Mariama that being a student, if you're getting a, hike in your check, in a paycheck, it's the best feeling you have ever done, honestly, because I've been gone through with this thing as well. So we used to work while studying, so things were very different. That's nice.
Okay, and I want to relate one more question with this question that what is the typical, how's the typical day of the students at the university from start to end, how they spend the time over there?
Sure. So mostly international students rent an apartment. I'm talking about graduate students because they rent an apartment. They will have roommates. They will, depending on the size of the apartment, there will be others. So everybody will have their own class timings, like we mentioned. Depending, timings could start from 8 a.m. in the morning. It could say I was doing my MBA at that time. My classes were from 6 in the evening till 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I
Right.
am free during the day, but in the evening is my classes. So everybody has their own timings. Then of course you have an apartment where you can cook. So roommates might take turns cooking, take turns cleaning. So a typical day will comprise of studying, going to work, cleaning your apartment, cooking, then of course eating and taking care of yourself, your fitness. There will be gyms and all available on campus. So you work out, you go for a run. So yeah, it's a very packed day. And at the end of the day, you will have your assignments waiting because they will have very
Okay.
firm deadlines. And in the US, when an assignment is given, a deadline is also assigned for that, and you have to submit it on or before the deadline, or it will not be accepted.
Okay. So does the university providing residential areas for the students?
Yes, so we do have multiple residential facilities available on campus, as
Okay.
well as if a student chooses to stay off campus, like many of our graduate students choose for cost reasons, because it will be less expensive for them to stay off campus. Even if they still
Okay.
opt to stay off campus, the university will still provide assistance in finding apartments outside of
Great.
the campus.
Great.
I have
Great.
a question
So
over here, ma'am. That is
sure.
this necessary for the undergrad students to live on campus for a year, as US is being always concerned?
That is required. First year for undergraduate students, they are required to stay on campus.
Because guys, again, I wanted to tell you, everyone who's watching us and who's listening to us, I am the guy who is taking care of US as well. So if you do have any kind of questions, please let me know, because I can speak like for 2 hours on US because I love that destination. Over to Ma'am Sumera, please.
Okay. So why students choose your university in USA? What is the difference between your university and the other universities? What is the main
Yes.
differences?
So I would say the uniqueness of Northeastern education
Yeah.
is the co-op facility, or the integration of real work experience into the curriculum that makes many students choose Northeastern. Northeastern has a whether it's an undergraduate level or at the graduate level, there is a very robust cooperative education model that is integrated into Northeastern education. That means at the undergraduate level, students must do at least one co-op. But we have students who do multiple co-ops. That means that we have students who take 5 years to complete an undergraduate degree because they go and do their co-ops, complete multiple co-ops during the course of the degree. And by the time they graduate, they will have 1 year of solid work experience under their belt, in addition to
Yeah.
the bachelor's degree that they have earned. But at the master's level, it's not mandatory. But at the same time, most of our international students choose to do a co-op degree. And one interesting fact is, when students do co-ops, what we have seen is that more than 50% of those students convert those co-op into full-time job opportunities. You go somewhere,
Right.
you perform well, then the company would want to hire you, whom they already know, over a person who they may not know, because you have already proved your mettle to the company during your co-op, and then you have a higher chance of being employed on a full-time basis than another person who may not have done it.
You
So
actually have answered for the question what was getting into my mind, because you told me that you guys do have a campus in Canada as well, in Vancouver. So usually in Canada, the co-ops are not being for 4 years. The bachelor's degree would takes around 5 years, as you know, because co-op is always being like, if you're talking about tri-semester, so study work, then work study, then work study work, and then study and then work. So how many co-op semesters a student can acquire in university, Northeastern University? in the
So
whole
that
degree?
just one thing I would like to mention is we do not offer, so our Canadian campuses are pretty new compared to our US campus. So we started admitting students in our Canadian campuses only starting January 2020. So we have not started offering any undergraduate programs at our Canada campuses. Now coming to your question, Hamza, about how many co-ops they can complete. So as you know, an international student has to complete 2 semesters of enrollment before they become eligible for a CPT.
Yes,
So
exactly.
they can do that CPT and they can do up to 3 during a bachelor's degree.
Okay, okay. So that
But
might takes around like
sorry.
the student can acquire for like 2 co-op semesters as well, because that would be counted as a third year. Yeah, perfect, perfect. So that is actually likewise the same scenario for USA, because most of the universities, whoever are offering co-ops, this is the main mandatory that you have to complete your 2 years, or at least that certain level of education, or you need to complete your credits while getting into the co-op. So that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing. Yes, ma'am, Sumera, please.
Okay. What kind of courses, career services does the university provide to the students? Is there any kind of job fair or placement drives?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when we have our student or when students come to Northeastern, we start with preparing them for co-ops. Okay, for there will be a
Okay,
lot of students. Like I mentioned, co-op is one of the main reasons why students choose to come to Northeastern. So we start with preparing them for the co-ops. Co-ops is just like a job, you know, they would have to, we have partnerships with 3,300 companies across the world
great.
who are our co-op partners. But at the same time, the students have to prove themselves. The students have to go through the maybe an interview process to land these co-ops, because nobody else can prove themselves. They have to prove themselves to land these co-ops. So as soon as the student arrives at Northeastern, we start preparing them for that. So we have co-op counselors available to work with them on their resume, to work with them on their interview skills, on their mannerisms, because these are all foreign students and we come from a different system. So they have to adapt to the American way of doing things. And we have counselors available for that. And the same thing continues even for career services. You know, how do you attend an interview? How do you
Yeah,
prepare a resume in the US style? How do you do networking for that matter? You know, networking is a very important aspect of finding a job or creating the connections which might be able to get you or get you an interview. So all those things the students are prepared, then there are job fairs available to them which they can attend.
That's great.
okay.
That's great.
So it's on regular basis or providing some type of career services once a week or once a quarterly, yearly basis, or it is for the all students, for graduates and for masters also.
So yes, we have career services offices where these counselors are
Okay,
available throughout the year.
okay,
So the students, whenever they want to take their services, they can always go approach them and they are available to guide them. In addition to that, we
great.
even offer a course in co-op on how to prepare for co-ops. It's a 1 credit course which they have to take if they are opting for co-op. So it is like, you know, teaching them how to get a co-op.
Great, great.
Oh,
Because
that's
in
nice.
many other universities, there are only specific days for career drives or job fairs. So that's why I just want to ask
Yeah,
this
the job
question.
fairs are for particular
Yes,
areas, but these career counselors or career services offices are available throughout the year.
all the time. Yeah, great. So Hamza, please, I think you want to ask something.
Yeah,
Over to
I
you.
actually wanted to. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, Mariama, my question is, so does the co-op thing, it affects the visa processing as well, because the student is getting the visa for 4 years, right? If he's supposed to take the co-op for the whole year, for example, for after 2 years, he's been very much, intent to the degrees, and he actually switched a very fine job. So what would be the actually the question is, because so many of the people, they ask that does the visa would be for 4 years, so it has to be extended. So what would be the level of extension, what would be the level of uh, you know uh, helping out to the student to get the extensions for the visas? This is what exactly the question is, because I just read it from my phone, I need to read it again.
Sure, sure. I understand your question. So The visa is initially issued for a certain period of time. So 4 years or 2 years or 3 years or how many ever it is. But that does not mean that the student is required to finish the program in that given period of time. Because when the student enters US, the notation on his passport says duration of studies. So how much ever long
Okay.
it takes for a student to complete his study is he would need to have an I-20. So if he runs out of his visa, he can always get a renewed I-20. And our Office of Global Services will work with the students to get an extension of that.
Oh, that's great, because I hope the person who actually texted me is online as well. Do I have to take the name? Okay, fine. I'll don't take the name. So I hope you get your answer. So, Ma'am Sumera, if you would allow
Okay.
me, let me just take a look in the comment boxes. Everybody
Yeah,
saying good
yeah.
evening, and
Yes, yes.
a big shout out from Ma'am Mariama, from Ma'am Sumera, and from myself. A very good evening to everyone. I was waiting for an informative session. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, consulting UK national association. Okay, fine. Study abroad. That's good. Mashallah, great. Okay. So Ali is asking bank
Yeah.
statement. Ali, I would like to address your question, but I will ask your question later because I will speak for bank statement as well. So if you don't mind, I am skipping this question, but I am not escaping it from my mind. I will definitely talk to ma'am on it. So the most important question regarding university is the courses, ma'am. So I would like to know what would be the best, the top-notch courses of university, the Northeastern University. Please let
Sure.
us know about it.
So Northeastern University offers more than 200 courses or programs under 9 different colleges,
Okay.
out of which our computer science and College of Engineering are the top programs, which are most difficult to get into, which are most competitive. And as you can imagine, those are the programs that are in demand in this part of the world,
Yes,
where we are
IT.
very much oriented towards STEM programs, whether it's engineering, computer science, cybersecurity, data sciences. So those are the flagship programs of Northeastern. Those are the most competitive programs and the best programs that are offered at Northeastern, the graduate level.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am Sumera, please.
Okay, we have some questions. Students are texting me that how COVID-19 affects next intake.
Yes, that is a
Classes
question
will
that I
be
was
online or on computers. Yeah.
Yes. So for fall 2020, Northeastern has decided or has already announced that we will be offering classes on campus, provided, at that
Okay.
time in September, there is no restriction from the government prohibiting that. Of course, we have to abide by the public health advisories that are from the government. But as of now, we have actually started reopening our campus in a phased manner. So from June 1st onwards, we have started reopening our campus and we will be offering classes on campus for fall 2020. But at the same time, for students who are already there or for domestic students, well and good, they go and study. But for our international students, there are other challenges that they face. Like, the consulates are closed. They are not able to apply for their visa. There are no international flights. Even if they have a
Yes.
visa, they cannot get to the US. So taking into account all these challenges that are faced by the international students, what we have done is we have introduced a program called NUFlex. That means we have a classroom running led by a faculty member, and at the same time, students can log in. So there will be students present in the classroom, following the social distancing norms and everything. And these classrooms are very specially equipped with AV facilities, cameras, mics, monitors for screen sharing, all that. And in addition to the students who are already in the classroom, there will also be students logging in from different parts of the world. And everybody will be actively participating in the class, which gives which is as close as it gets to a being on campus and being part of the class.
So I could take it as a blended learning kind of thing.
Very correct. Very correct.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also, we are also checking with the government to see if the rules can be relaxed, where So, once the consulate open and the students are able to get their visa, whether they will be able to arrive a little later on campus. Normally, typically about 2 weeks late is allowed by Homeland
Everywhere,
Security.
actually.
Yeah. But we are trying to see if the government will relax it beyond that. Again, this is not a call that a university can make. It is
Yes.
a government regulation that we have to follow. So we are checking with the US government to see if it is possible. We haven't received a positive response yet, but at least we are working on it to make it easier for our international students.
Okay. We
Okay.
could, cross
So,
our fingers and hope for the best for this thing.
Absolutely.
so great. So, as per current situation, which English test is acceptable?
So right now we accept TOEFL, which can be taken from home.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
ever since COVID, ETS has announced that they are offering a TOEFL from home. Then IELTS is offered in some parts of the world, so whoever
Yes.
can take IELTS, that is accepted. Then we have also started accepting Duolingo, which is a test, English test, which can be taken from home, and within a few days, the students will get their test scores. So that is a newly introduced test that we have started accepting after this, because of this COVID situation and because of the challenges faced by the international students. Then some programs do accept PTE as well.
So PT is not being accepted by every of the program, right?
Not all of the programs.
Okay. So, Ma'am Sumera, I would like 2 minutes from you because I need to talk about this English language barrier as well.
Sure, sure,
Uh,
sure.
Over here in Pakistan, specifically because we are talking, we are targeting the Pakistani students. So IELTS indicator is one of the module from the IELTS is a home-based IELTS. So is it being acceptable from the university?
Not right now. We have not started accepting IELTS indicator yet.
Indicator. Okay. So what would be the level?
So we have not started accepting the IELTS indicator. We do not accept IELTS indicator.
Okay. So we are just looking for IELTS, for PTE, for some courses, and Duolingo as well, and TOEFL, because US has always been preferably for getting into TOEFL. So my question is, what is the requirement for undergraduate and for postgraduate? For example, if you are talking about overall courses for all of the US, it's being 6.5 overall and 6 in every band, not less than 6 in any module. So in Duolingo, what would be the calculated score regarding it?
So, Northeastern follows a very decentralized admission process. So every department or every college sets their own requirements as far as English proficiency test goes, as far as GPA or the GRE or GMAT or whatever exams go. So the requirements for each of these is different based on the program. So it goes from 6.5. If we take IELTS, for example, it goes from 6.5 all the way till 7.5, depending on the program. Like I mentioned, School of Business or Computer Science ask for a higher IELTS score or a TOEFL score or a Duolingo score as compared to maybe, say, MS in Project Management, which requires only a 6.5 or a 80 on TOEFL.
Okay. So any kind of exemptions for any kind of students?
Yes. So exemptions in in English test scores we are not providing because this is to prove that the English student has a required English proficiency to undertake a program that is offered completely in English. Because they should be able to understand, sitting inside the classes, they should be able to understand, they should be able to submit assignments, all those depend on their proficiency in English. So when it comes to English proficiency or proof of English proficiency, we cannot make any exceptions. But the other standardized tests like GRE, GMAT, it is waived for international students who are applying next year. Because,
For
many of them
2021.
are, yes. So many of them are not able to take these tests. Again, it depends on the programs. Some programs waive it for spring 21 and fall 21. Some programs waive it for fall 21 and spring 22. So it varies by the program, but the standardized testing has been waived off just to make it more convenient for students to apply.
So that is being applicable for all of kind of the students like HSC if the student is doing, or the person from the background of O levels and A levels. They are all already not been exempted into this list as well, right? They
So
had to go for
Northeastern
IELTS.
at undergraduate level never required SATs or ACTs for their international students. That's the requirement only for domestic students. So international
Okay.
students never had to submit SAT or ACT.
Okay. So guys, whoever is listening to us and watching to us, you need to do IELTS as I told you before. So please call me. I'll guide you back. Thank you. Ma'am Sumera, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, Hamza. How much scholarships available and what is the grades required for the scholarship? What are the grades required for scholarships?
Scholarships are offered mainly by the department. So the availability of scholarships also depend on the availability of funds in the departments. So at Northeastern, what we see is when it comes to scholarship availability, the preference is given to PhD students because all of them are fully funded. Then whatever is funding is left over is given to master's students. So the amount also varies depending, it's all merit based. So it's based on the
Okay,
students' overall merit profile that the scholarships are given out. But when we look at majority of our master students are self-funded without depending on scholarships.
Okay. So what about the entry criteria for undergraduate for the students?
So I am from the graduate school or from the graduate department, so I do not have a lot of information about the undergraduate freshman admission.
Okay. Yeah.
So what the undergraduate admissions office look for is a well-rounded student because SAT or ACT is not required. So their academic performance, their personal essay that they write, the recommendation letters that are submitted on their behalf, then their overall profile or as a student is what matters. And get into Northeastern, it's pretty competitive at the undergraduate level. We have an acceptance rate of about 18%.
And what about the postgraduate? How much GPA is required for direct admission?
And GPA varies from anywhere from 2.5 to about 3.5, depending on the program. Graduate, each program has their own policy. So it could be 2.5 for some programs, but it goes all the way up to 3.5 for some other programs.
Okay. So what would be the curriculum for if you are talking about the GPA converted into percentage? Do you know exactly what percentage is required?
So it will go anywhere from about 55% all the way up to an 80%.
Okay. So I could take it like the least would be not less than 55%. Right?
On a second class degree that we are talking about.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, Sumera.
okay. So any relaxation on study gap and how much gap is acceptable?
Yes. So when it comes to study gap, like say if a student has 5 years of gap after the completion of education, and
Okay,
if he was working or if it can be explained with something, then that is fine. Any amount of, we have students who are applying for a master's degree after working for 12 years. So they completed their undergraduate degree. They have been working for 12 years. Now they are applying for their master's degree. That is absolutely fine. But you have 12 years of gap and you have not been doing anything, that could be a problem.
Okay. So, ma'am Sumera, I would like to add in for a comment as ma'am Mariama. I forgot the name, sorry. So, ma'am Mariama told us that she's actually from the graduate school. So, I have a question regarding this thing, that if a person is being compiled for a 4 years degree, for example, he has an engineering background, completed his degree in 2013 or 14, and being working into a relevant field and wants to go for a master's degree from US. So, that is a very, very good catch for the student because he has been enrolled in the field which he has already been graduated.
Yep.
But for example, that's a 4-year degree which is called an honors or an engineering BEng degree, right? What about those people who have a 2+2 degree? For example, they have completed their 12 years of education, then 2 years BCom, and then 2 years MCom. So are they eligible to get direct entry?
Absolutely, they are.
Okay.
So for a student who has completed a 2-year BCom and then a 2-year MCom, that means their education that they have completed is equivalent to a US bachelor's degree. So they can apply directly for a master's degree at Northeastern. And also, while we are talking about that, one thing I would like to mention is for a student who has completed a 2-year BCom, we have another option, which is called the bachelor's completion. And we know that a 2-year degree, a 2-year bachelor's degree is not considered as a bachelor's degree in the US. But
Yes.
they do have the option of applying for a bachelor's completion degree, whereby they, whatever course they have completed, they may be able to transfer towards their degree at Northeastern.
Okay.
And then they can do 2 more years and get a US bachelor's from Northeastern.
Actually, you just read my mind. I was about to ask this question that the person have, if he's or she is supposed to do the BCom. So
Yep.
undergraduate would be for 4 years. So
Yes.
he has completed, or she has completed 14 years of education, which is BCom, right? So how many chances that he would get the whole of the exemption for 2 years, and he or she will get enrolled for only 2 years to get the undergrad completion?
Yeah, that is something we can say only after the transfer credit evaluation has been completed. You know, we have to see, okay, what are the courses that he or she has completed as part of the BCom, and what will those courses map into at Northeastern, and then how much more would he or she have to do to get an equivalent of 120 credits that is required for a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, for getting into masters, right? Okay, thank you so much. It was just a, you know, a quickie thingy that comes into mind. Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
Sumera, please.
Okay. How is the program designed, and what is the curriculum structure, and how the students are being assessed?
So this is, you know, when we look at Northeastern, we have always designed programs which meets the needs of the industry.
Okay.
Especially at the campuses, at the regional campuses. See, at Boston, we offer all the programs that Northeastern has. But when we start, or when we offer programs at regional campuses, what we do is we identify the needs of that local economy, and then design programs based on the needs of the local economy for 2 reasons. One, that is what is required by for the economy of that particular city. 2, the students who are studying in those campuses will have opportunities available right at their doorstep. They would not have to go looking for a job somewhere else. So, and plus the co-op that is offered will equip them to find a job immediately upon graduation without, you know, going somewhere else, because they are right in the middle of where this industry, or the hub of the industry is.
Okay. So, ma'am Sumera, again, I need an excuse because a question comes in my mind. So if a person has completed 2 years of BCom, so is he or she eligible to go for a co-op program?
After 2 years of, so yes. So how it will work for a person who has already completed 2 years of work or 2 years of BCom. Let's assume all 2 years of his or her BCom transferred towards the degree at Northeastern. So they will start their junior year, or they will start a 3rd year at Northeastern. They have to complete 2 semesters of study, then they can go for their co-op.
Co-op, okay. So the program would be designed as that we could offer them a co-op, but for that they need to cover up, because to be very honest with you, after the evaluation, things would be kind of a tricky, because credit transfer score system is not being guaranteed from any university that should be supposed to 100%, and you will get all the exemptions. You need to get the deficiency courses. This is what I'm being very clear, because if the person comes up to me and asking for the BCom degree, so I always told them that I will try my level best to ask the university to exempt as much as they could, because in so many of the times a student is being exempted for 1 year and they have to go for 3 years of the bachelor. So thank you so much for this answer. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Please.
So Mariama, share any success story of the students?
We have plenty of success stories of students, and especially from South Asia to share, because we have a lot of students from South Asia studying at Northeastern. And while we are talking about that, I want to, something that Northeastern is very proud about is the fact that Northeastern University hosts the 2nd highest number of international students at any university in the US. So we have more than 15,000 international students studying at Northeastern. So you can imagine, international students choose a university seeing how their seniors fared, or seeing how well they have done after studying at a university. That is one big determining factor, and the word of mouth plays a big part in students selecting a university. So we have multiple students who have, completed their programs both at undergraduate and graduate level. And also they have either continued working in the US, they have or come back to their home countries, they have started their own businesses, or they have taken over their family businesses. So there are many success stories. And for these students, there is something like a global leadership group that has been created. So alumni relations
Right.
have created something called a young global leaders. So these are young graduates of Northeastern who are, in very high positions in their careers, who have great accomplishments in their careers at a very young age. And summits are held for these students to get together and brainstorm. And then there are very active alumni groups that are there. So in South Asia, we have about 5,000 alumni. So that's a very vibrant and a very strong group. And as you can imagine, that is a very good support group also for a new graduate. The fact that, oh, you have graduated from Northeastern gives you are joining a club of 5,000 others who are in different stages of their career, who are capable to help you.
Great.
Okay.
So,
So I have
Hamza,
another question.
So please go ahead.
Sorry for this interruption.
No,
So
it's not
I
an
would like to
interruption.
talk about
Yeah.
the finances as well, because that is the most important thing. But before getting into finance or discussing it, what about OPT, ma'am? First of all, I would like to tell people, whoever are watching us and listening to us, OPT is optional practical training, which is equivalent to PSW, which is called post-study work visa. For example, if you have completed your degree from UK, so you will be awarded for 2 years. So same goes by with USA, that it's not called PSW, guys. It is OPT, optional practical training. So is this the same standard for STEM for 3 years and non-STEM for 1 year?
That is correct. So all programs at Northeastern, which admits international students, which are called F1 compliant, are eligible for an OPT of either 12 months or 12 to 36 months, depending on whether it's STEM designated or not. So if it's a STEM designated program, then it is eligible for up to 3 years of OPT. If it's a non-STEM program, then it is eligible for 12 months of OPT.
Okay. So if the person is going for a co-op and a STEM, is it possible that STEM program degrees, STEM related degrees are being offered by co-op?
Absolutely. All programs are eligible for co-op. So they can do a co-op. At the same time, they can be eligible for OPT as well once they graduate.
That's nice. Because guys, I hope you could get to know that it's not PSW in USA, it's OPT. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Hamza, now I think we should give some relaxation to our live audience other than university information. And we have a very gorgeous Mariama Thomas. So, Mariama, are you ready for the a little bit personal questions?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll answer from my
She's
side as well.
ladies first.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. So, describe your life story in 5 to 6 words.
A lucky person who is able to do what I'm passionate in as my job.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, what is the best thing that happened to you during the past week?
Past
Past week.
week.
Past week.
Yeah, past week.
That is a difficult question to answer in this Corona situation, because I have not been outside. Oh, well, I think going on a drive was the best thing to have happened. I know even these days we start to appreciate simple things in life.
Okay. What's your most used emoji on WhatsApp or on Facebook or on Instagram?
The laughing out loud emoji. As you can see, I laugh too much. I laugh a lot.
That's nice.
That's really nice. Okay. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Which decade you love the most and why?
Okay, I would say 90s, because that is the
Okay.
time when I was in college. So you kind of guess my age by now. But I think my college days were the best. We start to enjoy this very carefree, no responsibilities. Yes, 90s would definitely be my pick of best time of my life.
Okay, that's really cool. But you are still looking that like you are just 4 to 5 years back in your college.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, okay, what's your favorite tradition holiday?
Sorry, what's my favorite?
Tradition holiday.
Traditional holiday. Okay, that would
Yeah.
be anytime I have a large family, so anytime there is a family get together is like a festival or a holiday for us. You know, sometimes we don't necessarily get together, will be able to get together during holidays. So whenever my family get together happens, that is like a holiday, that is like a festival, and that is always a favorite time of my favorite time of the year.
Great. So, as a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
As a child, I always knew that, or I always wanted to get an MBA and to be working in a people-related field. Unfortunately, I ended up, but I never thought I would be an educator. But I always wanted to work in a field where I interact a lot with people. And here I
Okay,
am fortunate to interact a lot with young people every day.
great.
I would like to
So,
answer this, ma'am.
so please.
I wanted to be a pilot. My mom says you are going to be a lawyer because I always keep on, I talk a lot. And eventually I ended up as a counselor, and my mom always been saying that you have justified yourself as a son. You keep on talking, that is why you are into public relations and you are a consultant now. That's it.
Great. So, Mariama, what is your on your bucket list hopes, dreams for the future?
Hopes and dreams for my future. This is something for me, one of the greatest hopes I have is for, while for as long as I am working, I would like to do something that where I contribute to the field of higher education, where I get to uh, help international students in one way or the other, to make it as easy as possible for them. And I think so far I have been able to do that. And maybe for the next, I hope I'd be able to work for 20 years. For the next 20 years, maybe I should be able to do it. But not in the same way, but as responsibilities change, the way we help them also change. But then I would like to keep contributing to the field of international higher education.
Great.
Great. So, what are some challenges you think the next generation is going to face or will face?
I think we are already seeing some of that. Again, this is my personal opinion. It is not Northeastern's opinion. The fact that our younger generation tend to be very internet obsessed, where there is very little, I think it's affecting not just our young people, even us for that matter, where everything comes to a through internet, that personal touch, that personal interaction, which we educators have always enjoyed and we educators value so much, is losing its touch, right? Where students tend to be, they are comfortable talking to a computer, or young people are comfortable talking to a computer or a phone.
For
So
example,
see, a lot of communications happen via WhatsApp rather than maybe when we were kids. The worst would be, I mean, we meet our friends on a daily basis. Maybe we will talk to them on the phone, but still we are talking. Whereas these days, young kids, they prefer texting to talking, and I
yes, I was
believe that,
about to say this.
yeah, I believe that kind of takes out some, it makes it a little bit impersonal. And we do understand there is a lot of advantages to that. That is much more convenience. But I believe that is not a good thing when we are too obsessed with
Yes, it is.
online and
And
texting, personal communications.
too much
Because over,
social media, yeah,
yeah, ma'am, please.
too much, sorry, too much social media access basically, but the generation is not as much social as we are.
You
We
you
were
hit the
basically.
right on the head. Yes, yes.
Because
Exactly.
as far as I'm concerned about the people over here in actually South Asia, internet's for PUBG.
Yep.
Everybody knows PUBG. I'm addressing you all who are watching me. Everybody is playing PUBG. And the worst part, you know what? Actually, this is what happens to our kids as well. Whatever they wanted to have, they just text it to their mom, food, mom, water. Literally, they are texting on WhatsApp, right, sitting of each other. that pass me the glass. You can ask me to pass the glass. No, they're texting me, bhai, pass me the glass. I was like, okay, fine, take it. So that's
Oh,
you're 100% correct on this answer, that our time was far way better than this thing, because we have been educated in that concern time, that internet was there, but it was not that much appropriate, concerning of everything. So use and misuses are always been there, and we try our level best to
so
let and educate people that please you ops what do we say, excessiveness is bad for your health, right? Excessiveness of anything is bad for your health.
Yes,
So
bad for
people
health.
are not
Yeah.
listening.
exactly.
Guys, please, you need to understand. This is for you guys.
So thank you so much, Mariama, for all these questions, personal questions. Uh, so okay, we have Hamza. We have online queries
Yes, we have online queries more than
on
landed on my
other
WhatsApp again.
question. Yes. Okay.
So
Ali Kazmi is asking something about bank statement details. You're going
yeah,
to
because
ask about it?
I was going back on that. That first of all, we would like to ask about the fee curriculum. What exactly is the fee range for postgraduates?
Okay. So the fees vary from about 33, again, it varies by the program, but it goes anywhere from $34,000 for the whole program up to about, see, our MBA program goes up to $90,000 for the whole complete program. So depending on the program is what the fee will be.
So the least would be counted as 34,000 US dollars, which would be 17,000 for an year, right?
Yes.
So is that for a co-op if the student wants to get occurred in co-op, or the fee would be different for the co-op?
So during the co-op, there is no fee to be paid. So they will be, doing their co-op. They will be getting paid. Actually, the student will be getting paid for the co-op. They would
Okay.
not be paying any tuition for the co-op.
Okay. So another question regarding this, because over there, specifically if I'm talking about Boston, so the living expense would be measured as 12,000 US dollars, relevantly to other places. For example, if you are talking about California, if you're talking about San Francisco, it would be 10,000. So as everybody knows, New York and Boston, these are the hubs. So they are a bit slight, over the edge. So what is the bank statement required for this any kind of program?
Yeah. So living expenses in Boston for a year, it is determined as $20,000. It's 19,000, and so it's almost 20,000. So 20,000 is the one year living expenses for Boston, which
Okay.
is what we see for New York or any big cities in the US, LA, New York. Whereas if you go to Texas or middle of America, the
Mhm.
cost of living becomes much less.
Yeah, it would be
So
reduced.
for
But if you are
northeastern
talking about
example,
Florida, and yeah, I know. So
yeah.
$20,000 would be reflecting in the account.
Yes. So there, when we show the bank statement for getting an I-20, we should
Mhm.
show 1 year's expenses, that is tuition and living expenses. So if it's a program that has a 34,000 or tuition for the whole program, it will be 17 plus 20.
20, 70 plus 20. And what about the initial deposit to get the I-20?
The initial deposit also varies from about $100 to $3,000 for the pathway programs. So mostly it's like 100 to $3,000 tuition deposit. But then that is deducted from the tuition when they arrive on campus and register for classes.
But they do need to reflect it in the account, right? Because the statement
They
has
can,
been generated after the I-20.
yes. So they have to pay the tuition deposit and then only they will get the I-20.
Yes. So for example, if the student is getting for any kind of program, which is 17,000 and 20,000 living expense should be reflected into the account. And he is supposed to pay 3,000 upfront for getting the I-20. So that makes 37 minus 3,000, that would be 34,000 should be in the account in this statement. And what would be the prior time for that bank statement? It would be 6 months or 3 months.
It's 6 months. The validity of the bank statement is 6 months.
Okay, 6 months to the prior date on which he is going to apply for the visa, right?
No, the date on the bank statement should not be older than 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, pardon. I just reverted the thing. Okay, thank you. So Ali, I hope you get all the answer. because this is what the most important thing, that everybody, honestly speaking, US is being varied by different states. So people
Yeah.
are going for Texas as well. As we South Asians, we always wanted to go for Texas because we are everywhere. Texas and Chicago is the most loveliest destination to be lived in. But I
Yes.
like LA more than that. You know, Florida and LA is they are far way better than that. So yes, ma'am, Sumera, please.
So, any source is required for the bank statements,
So for the
source of
bank,
income.
yeah, so for bank statement, it has to be readily available
Hmm.
funds. It could
Okay.
Yeah.
be educational loans, it could be personal savings, it could be family funds, but it should be readily available funds.
Okay, this is
Okay.
one of the very important thing that you have mentioned, family funds. So who is going to sponsor you, whether they are living inside the country or outside the country? Okay, for example, I am coming to Northeastern University and my father lives in Australia or anywhere in the world which is across Pakistan. So his statement would be eligible for me.
Absolutely. So as far as the university is concerned, we have to make sure that once a student is admitted, when before we are issuing an I-20, we have to make sure that the student has, or there is a sponsor who is ready to sponsor support the student while he or she is studying in the US. So the university does not really discriminate between whether the person is in the home country of the student or living somewhere else. The sponsor could be living in the US, the sponsor could be living in Australia, or the sponsor could be living in the student's own home country. That does not really matter. It's the willingness and the documentation that they submit to prove that I am ready to support the studies of the student that matters.
And the relationship
Okay.
along with the student should be either it could be uncle or any kind of aunt.
It could be any kind of relationship. As so what is important is, we are signing a paper and saying that I am willing to sponsor his studies.
Yes,
That
and
is
I'm
one
going
thing.
to bear the funds.
Yes, that is for as far as the I-20 goes. But when the student goes for their visa interview at a US consulate, they might do further scrutiny on
Yes.
who is this person, why is he sponsoring you. So does that
Okay.
mean the student should be able to answer the questions that are asked by the consular officer?
Okay, yeah, exactly. So guys, if you are watching us and if you're listening to us, this is the actual clear answer from you for you guys, that if you are going for an I-20, things are different. But again, for do not forget it, that you have to might encounter a visa officer as well. So you need to get ready for that as well. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, Anything you want to tell the students who want to study abroad? Any advice?
Absolutely. This is something that I love to do because having been an international student, for me, that was a life-changing experience. I'm from India. I did my master's, till my master's, I studied in India. I worked here a few years and then I decided to do my second master's in the US. And I still believe that is the best decision that I have made in my life. So it is not just about that degree that a student gets. It is not just about the courses that they study. It is the life experience that a student gains while studying at a US university that will set them apart, that will change their mind, that will change their outlook towards life itself, and that will determine the future success of their life. So this is something that, don't look at it as what is the degree that I'm going to get. That is a very narrow way of looking at international education. International education is much, much more than just the piece of paper that you get when you graduate from the university. It is about that experience, it's that exposure, it is
Exposure
that
you get.
unique way of looking at life that you gain from that. 2 years, it could be 2 years, it could be 4 years, how many ever years you spend as a student in the US.
Thank you
So,
so much, Mariama ma'am, for that brief, very good answer.
so Hamza, do you have any other questions
Yes, ma'am.
or? Okay, please.
I have another question. So Ali is asking any GRE or GMAT waiver. So as far as I'm concerned, no GRE and GMAT is required right now for the international students, right?
That's correct.
Okay, Ali. So I hope you are online and watching us. So no GMAT and GREs. required.
And you better apply fast because this is only till next year. After that, all this test requirement will come back in effect.
Yeah, exactly. The GMAT would be a minimum. US would take five. Okay, I would like to tell you guys one more thing. It's not about not Eastern University. It's about USA. GMAT requires 550, and trust me, guys, I have cleared GMAT with 600. 550 is not an easy thing. Trust me. And GRE requires, I think, 300 or 70 something in US. I think. So that would be the minimum. So guys, you need to work hard if you're going for. So I would like to request to everyone that if you want this waiver, you need to apply as fast as you can. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, Sumera.
Okay, so thank you so much, Pariyama, for giving your precious time and for joining us and for answering all the questions in a detail. And Hamza, thank you so much for joining us. And it was really a lovely and informative session as well. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone who joined us.
My pleasure to spend time with you and also to answer the queries. I hope it was useful for the students who have tuned in. And I hope this will, prompt you to start consider Northeastern as an option for your study abroad. And FES is here to help you with any additional information that you may require. Please feel free to reach out to them. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
You both are welcome, and you both look very nice, and thank you so much for having me, because I just jumped in and it was such a lovely session. And to be very honest with you, ma'am Sumera, you did a very fantastic job, and ma'am Mariama, it was such a detailed and designated session. So thank you so much, everyone who are watching, who are watching us, who are listening to us.
Evening,
You know,
everyone.
if you could see this, I always said the guide you lead is not just a statement, it's what we are doing in this pandemic. And again, before leaving, I am requesting you all that please do not go out without your mask, because people, that's the most funniest thing. People ask me, sir, why you're not taking a mask while you are doing the interview? I am at my home. I am not going outside. So please do wear your mask, keep your, maintain your safe distance. Please use sanitizers, the whole whatever scenario is, upcoming up. So please, guys, you need to take care of yourself. Thank you so much, both of you. It
Everyone
was
stay
lovely time having you guys.
safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
everyone,
night.
for
And I
joining
hope,
us. Thank you, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
I wish you all the very best of luck and stay safe, guys. Thank you so much. And I will be back another with a live session. I promised again. Thank you. Bye-bye.